Hello, my fellow YouTubers. I just love that opening. This is more random thoughts from me, Ted Bear. Now, I've read a few articles showing people making not too smart choices when it comes to who they dress up for as Halloween, certain things they do as they perform on stage, who they hook up with, people not making the best of choices. Now, that is nothing new. Articles like this have been coming up since we started being social as a species, since we first started the part that's popping up more and more, and the reason I'm making this video, is the public outcry and the rather harsh consequences of, say, just off the top of my head, dressing up like a Boston Marathon bombing victim. Young lady who lost her job, got death threats on her and her parents, cyber stalking, a lot, you know. Now, this leads me to the question: have we just become angry and intolerant as a society? Now, with consequences like this, like I just mentioned, you would think so, but I don't. Let me explain. Now, with the advent of our social media, we are capable of reaching a bigger audience than ever before with our thoughts, our actions, our jokes, our opinions, our pictures. Back in the day, you know, way back in the dark ages before the internet, back in the day, you could only offend people that you could talk to. Now, if you wanted to offend large groups of people, you had to have a TV show, be a radio broadcaster, or a stand-up comedian. But given the fact that humor, just like beauty, is subjective and is truly in the eyes of the beholder, one person's innocent joke of, say, dressing up as Tavon Martin and George Zimmerman for Halloween, I said their innocent joke is another person's reason to rip off their testicles with a rusty hacksaw or whatever. Now, to maybe understand the why a little bit better, I'm pulling some stats from 23 amazing Twitter stats, an article I read while I was getting this video ready, which I have put a link to the article below. The two stats I'm working with is the average number of tweets per Twitter user, 307, and the average number of followers, per Twitter user, which is 208. Now, I thought that number would be higher, but some people have thousands of followers. Then there's guys like me who only have 3, and 2 of them are car dealerships trying to sell cars to somebody who doesn't even have a driver's license. Now, back to the story. In your 307 tweets, you put up a photo of, say, you dressed up in blackface and dressed so you can be Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black. Now, you're an average user. You have 208 followers. That means 208 copies of the photo. And that's just one user. Now, if somebody retweets it, that number, that 208, multiplies very quickly. Now, do I have to go into how many users Twitter has in how many countries? Or how many other social media sites? Instagram, Vine. I'm sure you know how much more there is than I do. Now, for those who say that it's just a joke, just an innocent joke, well, they're not seeing that larger audience thing that I was mentioning earlier. Now, couple of rhetorical questions here. Now, you wouldn't intentionally crack a Holocaust joke and amongst a bunch of Jewish people, would you? You wouldn't scream incoming to a group of combat vets. No, you would not intentionally do that. But the wider influence of our social media society means that more people are seeing the joke or hearing the comment or the picture, and the more people means a greater chance of finding that person who's not laughing because they have a personal connection to what's being laughed at, or it strikes at their core beliefs. You got the greater chance of finding those people and their friends. I would go into it, but that's where I started this video. Now, for one of the bigger questions, who am I siding with? Am I siding with the jokers or the outraged? I'm siding with neither. Because the jokers weren't looking for the hatred, job loss, death threats. The outraged weren't looking for a painful reminder of what they've lost, or a blow to their core beliefs. My purpose, my side, is to understand each point of view and maybe help remove some of the instant and extreme hate that we're finding in our social media. If one can see the other, maybe both sides can relax. This has been Random Thoughts from me, Ted Bear. I just hope I helped.